Thank you, Representative Noble. And you and I have had several conversations about this bill over the years, and you know how important the Ten Commandments are to me, and you know how important my faith is to me, and we have an honest disagreement about the role of the government in this kind of policy. So I just want to have a conversation about that. I think you answered this in the first sentence of your layout, but why do you want to require the Ten Commandments in every classroom?
Because they are foundational to our American both educational and judicial systems.
Do you think the Constitution is foundational to our country?
I do, and I'm so proud that in the Declaration of Independence that God is mentioned in the first the two opening paragraphs and the two closing paragraphs. So it was really foundational to our forefathers, even in the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah. Why doesn't your bill mandate teachers post the Constitution in every classroom instead of the Ten Commandments?
That might be a great bill. It's just not this bill.
Would you accept an amendment?
If you want to write that bill, I would JA it with you. But that is not this bill.
Well, we may have the opportunity. Would you accept an amendment to require the Constitution be posted next to the Ten Commandments in every classroom?
It actually would blow up the bill because that does not fit under the caption of this bill.
I've already checked. It would be germane because the bill is regarding Ten Commandments being displayed in classrooms.
Your amendment would be a very different thing, and no, I would not accept that.
We would require.
But you know what? Next session, if you want to do that, I would be happy to help you with that.
We would require that the display of the Ten Commandments just happen next to the Constitution. So certainly germane to the bill.
No, it is not.
Do you think that the Constitution should be posted next to the Ten Commandments?
That has nothing to do with this particular bill.
Well, not about your legislation, but do you think those two documents should be posted together?
I'm going to stick with the talking points on my bill, if you don't mind. I don't believe that is part of this bill.
So is that a no, that you don't want the Constitution posted alongside the Ten Commandments?
Please confine your remarks to the subject of the bill.
Does the First Amendment to the Constitution forbid the government from establishing a state religion?
Thank you for that question. I really do appreciate it. This bill doesn't establish a religion. It honors and informs us about our heritage and the moral clarity that our forefathers held.
I just want to ask the question again. Does the First Amendment forbid the government from establishing a state religion?
Again, I don't want to get into a whole debate about the Establishment Clause or the Freedom to Worship Clause. That has nothing to do with this. This bill is specifically about our heritage and foundational truths in our education and judicial systems.
I promise, Representative Noble, it's not a gotcha question. I was just trying to establish that the First Amendment forbids the government from establishing a state religion. Is that something we can both acknowledge and agree to?
I will agree with the fact that we don't want government telling religion what to do. We came very close to that during COVID, and that was a very dangerous precipice. And I agree that is not something we should be doing as a legislature.
Let me just do it this way. The First Amendment says Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Is that?
Some argue that the Establishment Clause and the Free Exercise Clause of the First Amendment are often in conflict, and that strict adherence to the Establishment Clause can undermine the rights guaranteed by the Free Exercise Clause. So we're not going to debate that today because I think you're getting into some debate that has nothing to do with this bill.
I promise, Representative Noble, I'm not trying to catch you in anything. I'm just making sure you understand that's the plain text of the First Amendment.
Again, I don't think that's relevant to this debate.
So do you acknowledge that's what the First Amendment says, or do you disagree?
I acknowledge that there is both the Establishment Clause and the Free Exercise Clause.
Do you know who authored the First Amendment to the Constitution?
Does this have something to do with my bill in particular? Because we're talking about the Ten Commandments, and I do know who authored the Ten Commandments.
So it was James Madison who authored the First Amendment to the Constitution, and in 1819 he wrote that the civil government functions with complete success by the total separation of the church from the state. Do you agree with James Madison?
I'm going to tell you that our founding fathers quoted the Bible themselves.